It's November 2010, and we are in Cordova, Alaska during its annual 17th sobriety celebration. We watch all the dance group from around the state welcome the audience. A few days earlier, I got to check out the Cordova Ikimu dancers. Here you see them preparing for their upcoming performance.
We've been practicing ever since the summer after the cruise ship. We just kind of kept going, and then since then, now that it's sobriety time, we just started practicing more often, making sure we're all prepared and everything. Now that we've had two practices, now that we just got the adults back in, so we've been working for 2 hours. Some of us will go for the adult classes to help them, to teach them. So. Ever since the school year started, a lot of us have been like making slippers and more regalia and like updating it. Like I've been updating mine pretty much. So. Since there was a lot of songs lost, I kind of am teaching them again. We're bringing it back up and making some new movements and everything.
Here we have Bob Hendricks, who is the current president of the Native Village of Eyak and has been around since the sobriety celebration began.
In the community, for some people, it's very significant, but it doesn't seem like you get a lot of buy-in from the non-native community. And that doesn't bother me at all. They don't know what they're missing. But for the community around the state, it seems to be a very big thing. And a lot of people would like to see this event duplicated in other areas. And I'm all for that. Just go and keep fanning the flames of this, because I would like to see more of these celebrations spread out around the state in different times of the year. Our deal was not so much AA or 12-step or anything. It was more people just decided not to drink anymore, and many of them were the the heads of their families, and they felt that it was sending a bad message to their kids, and they decided not to drink anymore. And I think it's an inspiration to hear a lot of these people talk to other people who have when we first started, a lot of people would poo-poo what we were doing, but they don't do that anymore. I think it's inspirational, and what I especially like is all these kids coming in with these dance groups. Like Eyak uses this as a behavior modification tool for their kids. If they behave, they get to go to sobriety. And I remember a couple of years ago, they had 37 kids showed up here. That was great. And if you only could reach a handful of people, you made a difference. But in their lives, the funny part about it is, so many of these kids have been coming to sobriety day. The connection in their minds between sobriety and good food, and that's a hell of a good connection to make. Well, when we first started, there weren't that many people involved, and we got quite a few people came to it, but it seemed like it was the same people down there at midnight cleaning up and putting everything away. And then as we formed a committee to do it, all of a sudden people started jumping in and taking charge because they wanted to be part of it. And that's because I don't think I'd have the energy to go down and clean that place up again like I used to when I was younger. I'm 68 now, and I feel pretty good, but there's a lot of memorable events and really memorable speakers, and these dance groups are you know, you get those Clinket dance groups out there and they compete with one another. You'd think they'd blow the roof off the gymnasium. It's and they've all contributed a part to all of this. And our dance group is now the adults are taking part in it, and we decided that we're going to start writing our own songs and our own dances and taking part of our history. We don't have to be like everybody else. We can develop our own identity, and I'm pleased about that.
All of the hard work and practice is about to pay off. You see the dancers walking towards the gym for their first performance of this year's sobriety celebration.
Our own Cordova native dancers, so let's give them a great big hand.
Hi, my name is Selma.
Denise. You've been in it for
Two years. 2 years. 2 years.
3 years.
I've been in it for 3 years. She's been in it for 2. And she's been in it for like 11. Yeah, 2.5.
I've been
I've
in
been in it
it
for
like
like 3.5.
No, 3 years. 6.
Like if you want to drum, then like they'll like teach you the song.
There's
then you can
6, 7.
We
there's
each have like
7
our
of
own
us
special
who, like,
drumming songs.
who like want to drum a certain song.
And what makes you want to drum that song?
Well,
Just like if you know it, you can do it. If you don't know it, you don't do it.
it's really different aspect, drumming and dancing. But if you really like the song, maybe you really like the way it sounds when the drummers drum or something and you want to try that, then you go up to Naomi Kane and you ask her, hey, can I drum for the song? And she'll say yes, and she'll teach you how to do it. Learning how to make stuff like the ribbon slippers. I learned how to make the flowers and stuff. I got to learn new dances and meet new people. I like that just kind of the reaction of the crowd seeing us do this. I think that's really cool because, I mean, we're standing there and we're doing something we do every day and everybody's like, oh, that's so cool and stuff.
We would like to invite anyone who wishes to come and join us out on the floor at this time.
The song we're going to perform that you're invited to come and dance with us is Alahe. We are pushing the clouds away so we can go swimming. We jump in.
It's kind of a thing where you get the crowd involved, and it's a good way to it's kind of like you teach them a song too. So it's good to get them interacting, because sometimes it gets boring. You watch them, and especially if you watch them years and years and years, it's good to get them involved, or if they've been sitting for a long time. excited out of it, and it's like, oh yeah, here we live in this area. We're gonna show what our culture is in this area and what it means to us, like to represent this area. They're adults, but I think it looks really good. You know, not just the youth and everything. It shows that all ages like us, like they want to show their culture and everything, and it looks really good. Having them come and, you know, support us too. Like they sit in the stands and like they've wanted to do it for years now. They just never have. Like they have, and then all of a sudden it just stopped, and then now we've lost all them, and so now we're regaining them.
So what do you think?
This first song we're going to perform is called Time of Theme. It means come you all, in a boat, playing around, shooting an arrow. We got one.
The dance group this year is much larger. Last year there were about 5 kids that were grade school age, and so the adults and some of the young adults have come together and decided to join up with the group. So it's probably tripled, quadrupled in size, I think. So we're really happy with our group this year. We've been having a lot of fun.
The adults have wanted to do this for a while, like about 5 years. There's been a few adults that's wanting to do it.
I think it gives them some sort of cultural perspective. They don't get much of it in school, so becoming involved in the Native Dance Group teaches them the language and a little bit about the culture from this area. So I think it's really good.
Also, I think that it gives them discipline, you know, because they have to stay in the dances and they have to sing, and they have really good voices. They memorize more songs, I think, this time because Brooke has them. We're not repeating one dance throughout the whole entire sobriety, and they're doing a lot of dances, songs that have been gifted from other groups as well, as songs that they've composed themselves. So they've got quite a repertoire.
Right. And our dance group's always been open to tribal members, but also to the community. So we have kind of a multicultural group.
Originally, our dance group songs came from Malutic, Lydia Romart.
Right.
Yeah, and so that was one. And then since then, there have been gifted other songs through, I think at Celebration and different places that the dance group has been. They've been gifted songs. So just as songs come in and they learn them, that's what we do. There's even a Cherokee song.
Right.
Also, sobriety really provides a stage for the kids that they don't have anywhere else because it's their home ground, but it's also all these other dance groups. So they're watching the dancers all the time. They're watching the other dancers. They're seeing how they go, how their regalia is, how they interact. So it's a really win-win situation. It's good that we get. It's a wonderful thing that MDE does. The sobriety celebration itself is really a good platform.
Qaniqwania khat tisk hitakhaya. Gulchish. Precious people and people of honor seated here. It is good to look upon your faces. Andush is my Tlingit name, and through the white man's tongue, my name is Makamontur. I'm of the Raven Moiety, from the Copper River clan and House of the Owl. Thank you for listening to me. To be here at Sobriety means more than just performing. Sobriety means being whole in yourself without the influence of drugs and alcohol. You will see the JRM dancers. We're ranging in age, yet we're here to celebrate sobriety in its whole, and what sobriety means to the Alaska Native people. What it means to love yourself for who you are and to not have to turn to the influence of drugs and alcohol. The Mount Sinai dancers were formed over 5 decades ago. Our people had been forbidden to speak our language, to practice our culture. My own grandparents were punished and whipped for speaking their language in public school. Yet a new generation has come, where we are to celebrate who we are, where we come from, and the history of the blood that runs through our veins. As you watch the dancers, it is easy to tell how much they care about it, how much they love to dance and sing with passion. That is what our elders wanted when they formed the group. They wanted us to have pride you can see in their eyes when we dance. They wanted us to have the strength to pass it on to the next generation. To me, that's what it means to be a Mount Sinai dancer. To love who you are, to be strong in who you are, without the influence of drugs and alcohol.
Honoring the veterans is an important part of this sobriety celebration. Each year, they come to represent their service to our country and to remember the veterans that have passed on. It is an opportunity for the community to honorarily welcome home their country's defenders and to not let their heroic service be forgotten.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are presenting you with Cordova, Alaska, and Alaska's finest veterans. We are honored that we be able to come here and have you people talk to us, and we really appreciate it.
We were standing together out here, and I commented to Dave, I said, did you ever think you'd get a bigger round of applause for being sober than you did for playing basketball? And neither of us ever expected that to happen, so that gives you an idea how our culture has changed. Maybe we could get you to say a few words, Dave?
Good evening. I've been fortunate to speak in 2000, and here I am again. How about that? Some of the doctors didn't think I would be, but I am. Look around. Look at the culture differences. But we're all here for one reason. We're sobriety. That's what it's all about. All this culture has come together, many different people from many different places. It shows, you know, I learned this from, I'm not even going to say, 30 plus years with Patsy. Two cultures can get along if you're going in the same direction, and it can be the same here. This is really an awesome gathering when you see all these people going the same way, doing the same thing. About all I have to say about sobriety is, many years ago, I don't think there's anybody old enough here except Bob to remember Burma shave signs. But it said, a drunken driver, there's nothing worse. He puts the cart before the hearse. And that's true. Drunk driving is the most preventable wreck on the highway. And it's up to each and every one of us. We can stop it. We just got to do it. Thank you. And it's up to each and every one of us. We can stop it. We just got to do it. Thank you.
As the three-day festival comes to an end, everyone in attendance leaves with a certain calm and good cheer that can only come from embracing sobriety and one's own heritage. It takes a lot of time and effort to put this on each year, but everyone agrees that it is worth it. This video is a mere glimpse of what goes on during the celebration and lacks the overall experience that can only come from being present. From Cordova, Alaska, I leave you with the grand exit of all the tribes dancing together.
Was to be able to adapt. And over thousands of years they have adapted, and they come to this time in our history still adapting and doing it very well. Lord, bless them and guide them and give them the strength that can use that gift that you gave them thousands of years ago. We ask this in your name, all powerful and living Spirit, God of creation and God of our life. Amen. Amen.